Hey guys, welcome back to Video Games Are Hard, episode 26. Had this been a weekly thing every week and not missed 2 of those weeks, that would have been exactly half a year. I think we just passed that point,
But now we have half a year's worth of podcasts.
which is pretty crazy. And
Yeah.
I'm Average Trey,
I'm Sid. Hey, hi, Sid Williams. Present.
and something
Weirdo.
something big came down the pipe on my YouTube channel recently.
Yeah, I saw. You know what? I got an update every week on the podcast that you were going to make a video.
Mhm.
And I saw a notification after I woke up today because my sleep schedule is so screwed up. And I went, hey, he put out his video. I will watch that so that when we do the podcast, I am not informed.
But we were talking about how funny it would be if you just come on here and you act like, oh yeah, that video came out. I'll watch it eventually. Yeah, whatever.
That would be really funny.
Like we've been hyping this up for weeks, and you just come on like, haven't watched it yet, but you guys, I guess you can talk about it.
That legit almost happened. Like it was 9:30. It was like an hour before we actually started this recording, and I was lying in bed and I was just like, huh. I guess I have to watch the video.
Oh, you poor thing.
Like for some reason, it wasn't even in my head. I was like, oh well, I'm gonna record a podcast without watching this video, and then I was just like, no, Sid, no, half an hour.
Just be like, yeah,
I'm okay.
I think Trey knows a thing or two. You can just carry that conversation. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be an insane carry. Just like, oh yeah, I released a video, and these are all the points I want to talk about it. I'm just like, oh.
But yes, the third video in the Average Trey SMS history trilogy, as you may want to call it, has been released. It's the Pianta 6 history video, which I titled The World Record History of Super Mario Sunshine's Most Competitive Level. Thought it was a pretty good title.
The Return of the Jedi of Average
Yes.
Trey World Record History progression videos.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's the third one.
Yeah.
I've only watched a third of a Star Wars movie, so
Dude, I keep forgetting that you have never watched Star Wars.
Have I mentioned the Star Wars thing on this podcast yet?
Probably, but you can.
But I'll just reiterate. The only time I've seen Star Wars was at a friend's sleepover when I was like in middle school. We started watching one. I forget which one. I think it was one of the older ones because they look pretty old.
Yeah.
And we just got like bored the third of the way through. We're like, let's do something else. Let's play Guitar Hero.
Oh my god.
And that
And
one
those are the
experience
good
with Star
ones.
Wars, I've just never looked back, never bothered to.
And those are the good ones. How do you feel about that?
I'm sure it's on my bucket list. I'll get to them someday. Just like you get to my video someday. It's fine.
I will eventually get to your video.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I hear I'm called a weirdo for playing 96 Chance.
Yeah, so I reference the reason why Bianco Hundreds is not popular is because you got to be a weirdo to play that category.
Dude, there were some Sided Williams stands in the Trey chat defending
Not
my
Tarek.
honor. Not Tarek. For sure not Tarek. But you know what? I've never defined him as a Sided Williams stan.
As a stand of anyone.
It's like a lot of feels bad man Sid. A lot of feels bad Sid. It's like 96. There were a few. 96 is the best category. And I was sitting there going like, yeah, okay.
I appreciate it, but come on now.
I was watching it like 6 hours later. Anyway, so the video's out.
Yeah, it was 5 months in the making. Started the script sometime in mid-November last year. And actually the script changed quite a bit over the months. I wasn't really sure what tone or direction I wanted to take with it at first, but it sort of evolved over time for making it interesting for a whole full game run video is relatively easy because you have like, oh, a whole entire new trick was found, or that he had this major choke, but he brought it back. But for one level, an optimized level at that, it's just like, well, okay, he did slightly better this time. So
Yeah.
So making that interesting was definitely tough, but I think I did a pretty good job overall. I'm pretty happy with the progression as the video goes on. There's sort of like the pre-fetch era and the post-fetch destroying everyone era. And, Fetch's record truly is strong because Dide and Ouija were both inspired to grind that level for a bit after the video came out, and they couldn't beat it. So it's safe for at least one more day.
Yay.
But we'll see how long that lasts. If 220...
Part of me was like, I should try to improve my time. Because when you skim the Google Doc that you recently took a screen grab of, I'm the worst time. I have a 213, and it's just like everybody has 215s or 216s, and I'm sitting there going like, dude.
Bro, My video is just roasting Sid so hard.
You're sitting there like everybody grinds this level. Like almost every Sunshine Runner. I'm the one Sunshine Runner that does not grind that level.
Hey, I made myself look bad too. I had like a 215 among 217s and stuff.
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
I'm just roasting Sid so hard in that video. Goddamn.
No,
First I call him a weirdo, and then I show how shitty his Pianta 6 time is.
A weirdo. I thought you were gonna for a split second. I thought you were gonna use you used the clip of me saying I was a weirdo, and I was just like, oh.
You know that is a thing that you say a lot, so maybe that's why I thought of that.
I do call myself a weirdo a lot.
It seemed like the least mean way of saying it, so I just did it.
What's the meanest way of saying it?
This fucking loser. Playing 96 shines. Fuck this guy. Anyway,
it is the one thing I can say about your videos, and when you were mentioning tone, like you couldn't, you were trying to figure out the tone, and it eventually evolved. You shift from. I don't even think it has a tone. It just kind of like shifts from tone to tone, but it does it very well. I think that's what I can say about your videos. Where it's just like
when I sort of go from like a more serious, like, oh, here's like the technical explanation to like a more silly part of it.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed you didn't explain more about buffered spin jumps. Like, I'm surprised you didn't go more into buffered spin jumps.
I could have, but as a viewer listening, it's like, how interesting is that?
It would have been 2 more sentences.
Like a buffered spin jump, you do the spin a little bit early, and then bam, you know?
Well, you do it a little bit early, and then you walk a little forward, and you get a little bit more height.
To be fair, so I didn't explain it in technicalities, but I did show an input display beneath each side-by-side comparison. So if you wanted to, if you really cared, you could rewatch that part over and over again in slow motion and see like, oh, there's the input difference. Okay, I get it now.
Or you could just talk to anybody in the SMS community.
True. And honestly, I like to include some of those moments where you could just like sort of go through it in like one thing. But if you care more about it, you can like sort of rewind, watch it again, and be like, oh, I get that now. So.
But yeah, you do that very well. Like you go into descriptions of tech, into like the people, like you shift very well. It's like from Cathalon's fail to get 117 to other things. Like it's just a very sad moment in that video, but like you shift out of it pretty well.
Dude, I memed on Cap so hard in that video.
Did you?
Okay. Yeah, like the God slide.
Oh, the God slide. Dude, that's a recent Calf vid too.
That God slide clip came from like a month ago. I just thought, I was watching his stream. He was just in Pianta 6 in an 80% run. And when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, that's perfect. Because I literally mentioned that exact same thing in his run, and he does it in a recent run. And I'm like, holy shit, I gotta mention that. Like, use that clip.
Oh, the God slide.
Isolate that clip really quick. And then also I show like the Caffel points in the splits just for fun.
Oh, yeah.
it's just Cathalon's a funny dude. I love Caff.
There's a lot of stuff. Like, a lot of people in the comments of the YouTube video are listing off just like, man, like Shift commented and Syrup commented and a lot of people commented.
Oh, yeah, Shift was hyped for this. Because actually, as like a way in advance promo, Shift is working on Battle for Bikini Bottom, like a series of progression videos.
Okay. Which
are pretty big in scope. And I may even be like doing some voiceover help with those whenever they get around to it. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, he's
well, it's like, see, the reason he's doing a progression or a series of videos for the world record progression is that it's supposed to harken back to the series of documentary videos on Melee, because Battle of Bikini Bottom is the Melee of speedrunning.
Holy shit, you put the pieces together.
I did.
It's not a progression video. It's the Battle for Bikini Bottom doc.
Yeah, it's a Battle for Bikini Bottom doc, which is about Shift.
Actually, so he has like he's being pretty smart about it. He's not making it like a usual progression video where it's like, he got this record, he got that record. I think the way he's doing it is he's having like a different sort of overall tone for each part. Because the early part is like the early people, where it is like like pretty competitive between multiple people. But when it gets to him getting record after record, I think it's gonna be like more gameplay focused versus like record focused. So he's being smart about it. But yeah, back to Sunshine.
So the YouTube comments that Shift was a part of. A lot of them are complimenting how much you've developed as an editor or a video maker over the past 5 years. See, I can't see that. I think you've improved a little bit. I still think you're just as good.
Go back and watch the 80% one. You'll notice how much more simple my editing was on that one. I might
I
have
liked
forgotten over the years.
I like the rewind and the fast forward feature. I feel like you just like added more stuff. Like, I didn't.
There's things I do in there you gotta have a pretty keen eye to notice. Like I used some.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't have a keen enough eye.
I used a lot of the sort of cinematic shots I took from that NoClip website, which was super useful. That really carried me through those in between sections. Where like, what the fuck do I put here? I'll just show Pianta Village from this angle. Fuck it.
Sometimes they were tinged red.
Yeah, I changed the color. That was nuts. But no, sometimes there were. I think one of the most technical things was when I was showing the stage like zoomed out and the Piantas like popping up on it.
Oh yeah. Those were dope.
That was multiple things working together. So first of all, I had to chroma key out the background behind a Pianta to put it on there.
Yeah.
And then secondly, I actually motion tracked those things to the moving background so it looks like they're actually there.
Yeah.
So it's a little technical, but it's not like anything too like Hollywood level shit, you know?
Yeah, I thought it looked really good. I'm not saying it looked like shit.
Yeah, you're just saying like the improvements are like pretty small, but they're there.
Yeah. And I don't have the keen eye for it. I don't look at it and go like, wow, this is so much better than your old stuff.
Making videos has kind of ruined how I perceive videos sometimes. Now, or not even just now, for the past years when I watch a video, I'll sometimes, rather than focusing on like the actual subject of the video, I'll start thinking about their editing. Like, why do they put that fade there? Like, why are they jump cutting around? Like, what's going on here? I'll look at like the little editing details and be like, I wonder, or like little things where it's like, yo, I should use that in my video, you know?
Yeah, I totally can understand that.
Like, I definitely have like a different eye for videos after making videos myself.
I totally get that. I'm trying to think of something that I like. I've had that feeling about stuff before. I just not about editing videos. But.
Maybe just like watching a Mario gameplay after speedrunning.
Sure, maybe Mario gameplay. If that's the easiest answer I could give.
Well, yeah, that Galaxy Mario moves pretty slow.
Yeah.
Compared to Sunshine, where he's crazy.
Dude, that Super Mario Odyssey guy, his idle animation's so weird.
He's a little jank in that game, but yeah. I'll let it slide, I guess.
Ground pound diving? What's this?
You ground pound, then you dive, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's an interesting.
I'll buy it. Sure.
What's funny is, like, I did replay Odyssey lately, and to bring it back to the video again.
You streamed that. How was that?
Oh, it was fine. I was complaining about it the entire time, but at the end, at the end, I feel like I had more of a respect for it, but still, it's still whatever. But
there were some things that you forgot, like, oh yeah, that was pretty good about this game.
Yeah, like it feels fun. I feel Odyssey as a whole feels like just off. Like I feel like if 3 things were tweaked or 4 things were tweaked, what everybody says about Smash Ultimate, just like if 4 things were tweaked, it would be a really good competitive game. And that I feel the exact same thing about Odyssey.
You mean making it feel like Melee?
I guess.
That'd be a good improvement.
Well, I don't know. There are people that are big fans of Smash 4 that think that Ultimate competitively could be almost there and aren't fans of Melee necessarily.
I've just gotten so bored of newer Smash stuff. I couldn't care less nowadays.
I think it's really cool that Melee players are making they're doing tournaments. Like they're doing online tournaments during this whole fiasco.
Yeah, I mean, we got the technology, may as well.
Yeah, and it's really cool. But anyway, when you mentioned, I never really thought about it, and it makes sense. I don't think I ever knew that rolling out capped Mario's speed. Like,
rolling. You mean
like
diving?
I think I did know, but I've never thought about it.
Well, in the video I said diving caps it.
Does it? Did you say that?
I guess diving and rolling out both does. Screw it.
Okay. Well, it's the same kind of thing with Odyssey, where ground pound diving is so integrated into that game. Like you have to ground pound in order to dive. So it like pre-dive you cap your speed. Pre-dive you stop your speed.
Yeah,
like
that is pretty weird. It sort of makes it feel clunkier than it has to be.
It's so weird. It is such a weird way to integrate ground pounds, and I can kind of see it. where like the developers of the game are just like, well, ground pounding isn't really well integrated into the movement. Let's more integrate it into the movement. But ground pounding in it of itself is an ending move. You are ground pounding. You are hitting the ground with impact. Like, you're not intended to use that as a movement option. And to integrate it before a dive, it just stops your speed and then gives you the set dive speed. It's just weird.
It's definitely weird and different, but I don't know if I could call it bad.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like
it's like a weird uncanny valley of movement.
Yeah, it's like it's not bad. It's an interesting idea, but it's just weird.
Yeah, it's very different than like 64 and Sunshine, where you can just keep moving and just dive immediately out of movement. So.
Yeah, and like sure, diving and rolling out in Sunshine caps your movement too, but it doesn't stop you and then set you with a cap of whatever speed. Like, it feels much more fluid than that. But yeah.
So were there any other things from the video you wanted to comment on?
Where's Pianta 3?
So I didn't realize that until I saw some reaction Twitch chat comments being like, yo, isn't 3, you can't do the flood setup either, you don't even have flood at all.
I immediately saw the video and went, everything but 5, and I was like, but 3 you don't have flood. So, like,
I guess when I was making that part of the video, 3 didn't even like enter my brain. It was just like, well, there's no flood, so I'm just gonna like not even comment on that. But
so you could if you had flood, you could theoretically do a water. That's how I reasoned it.
That's what I was thinking. See, you spawn at the exact same place, so theoretically, if you had flood spawning in, you could do it. Which is why, and I'm gonna be honest, it was a mistake on my part. That's how I justified though.
but I like the response of, dude, what was your response in Twitch chat? I loved it. Somebody was saying,
just like, we don't talk about 3 or something.
Oh yeah, we don't talk about Pianta 3.
I was just like, in my head, it was like the meme face where it's like the dude looking smug, like with the mask, but like crying behind the mask.
Yeah,
that was me. It's like, oh yeah, but I'm actually like, fuck, I messed up. But whatever, it's a pretty minor mistake. Honestly, there were much bigger mistakes than that in the 120 video. Reminder that for the sub 3 run, I put 2016 instead of 2018. Fucking hell, dude. Big mistake.
It happens. At least you got the good people right this time.
Yeah, I didn't leave one out.
I double checked that. I had to go back to see if everybody was named correctly, if there were 2 K names that shouldn't have been there.
I quintuple checked that. I don't want to make that mistake again. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, that would be pretty bad. Why did you say that you couldn't get a water slide on the bridge in Pianta 5 though? You can't.
You don't have the same setup. You gotta like do it from further back.
Okay, so it's just the setup.
It's not consistent to keep it on the bridge though. And don't say no, but if you do it as soon as possible, it always works. No,
if you do it as soon as possible,
it doesn't always work.
Well, that's because you suck.
Wait, so you get it 100% of the time? You're telling me?
If you do it early enough, it's consistent.
You're 100% consistent.
If I do it early enough, yes.
I don't. How consistent are you?
I could probably do it now. What do you mean?
Like, how often do you get the water slide fully in Pianta 5?
80%, 90%.
No way.
Yeah.
I get it like 30%, dude.
You're not doing
either
it,
way,
right.
It's not the same setup. That's what I'm getting at.
I see. I can be with you on that. It's not the same setup. What was the other thing that I was going to say? I'm a weirdo for playing 96 Shines. I think it's really funny that Noak is going to be fighting off more out of water comments. Even like literally recently, he was getting frustrated with people referencing being out of water at the end of Pianta 6 multiple times.
No.
And
he loves it.
Now that there's going to be another resurgence of that. I'm so happy.
Dude, we have to keep refueling the fire of Noak, referencing that.
I'm out. Oh, why didn't you censor fucking?
Why didn't I?
Yeah.
Oh, because it's late enough in the video where YouTube doesn't care.
Oh, wasn't it like right away?
See, YouTube is weird, where it's like, if you have some kind of swear in like the first maybe 30 seconds to a minute, it's considered like not monetizable. But that was a minute 30 in, so I got away with it.
Yeah,
Loopholes
you were
for
just
the
like,
win,
it's late
baby.
enough in the video, a minute 30 out of a 32-minute video.
And to be fair, I was a little bit worried uploading it. Like, so I uploaded it. We're recording this on Saturday. I premiered the video earlier today. I uploaded the video to my YouTube channel unlisted last night on Friday. And I was afraid I'd wake up in the morning and like YouTube detected it like not monetized swear words.
You
I was
said
like,
a
"Fuck."
swear.
I gotta like rerun the whole video and edit that whole swear out. But luckily, I got through the system, so I'm good. And honestly,
Out of
like
fucking water.
let's be honest. I feel like the fuck and the shit words have lost all power nowadays.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like in the 50s, those were powerful words. Nowadays, not so much.
It's the Carlin seven I can't remember the phrase.
The 7 words you
It's
can't say
comedy.
on TV or whatever.
Yeah, just like there's a few you still can't say, but
Yeah. Like
but,
you can say
fuck.
ass and you can say hole, but you can't say asshole.
Like tits was one of the words. Tits has totally gone out the
To
window.
be
Like,
fair,
you
I
can
didn't
do
say
it.
tits in the whole video.
You can say tits whenever you want. Those were one of the words in radio in like the 90s and 2000s you could not say. I think they don't say it still because radio is still fairly family friendly, but
It's still fairly friendly.
fairly friendly.
Not always though.
But yeah, tits. You can say tits.
Yeah, and
whatever,
tits is
who
like
cares?
nothing now. So
Yeah, for sure.
Words
It's like,
change
that's the
over
tits.
time. Actually, originally this podcast was going to be themed over words, sort of derogatory words changing over time.
Yes. And the first word we were going to do was probably a word we're not going to say on this podcast ever.
You know, I'm glad we went in the direction we did.
Yeah. But it would have been an interesting one episode.
Yeah,
of
and
this
then
podcast.
we get canceled. It's like, well, that was fun.
Yeah. Well, it's just like we did word origins.
I'm
And
glad you
people got mad
enjoyed
about it.
Because as you know, Sid, a word is bad regardless of context.
True.
You could just
Very
be
true.
talking about the word, but you're still an asshole, you know?
It's like how we don't use the word retard very much anymore. I'm saying the word, but we don't use
See,
it very much anymore.
It doesn't matter what the context is, you're a dick.
I'm a dick now that I said it. What's funny though is that because of this quarantine and stuff, I've been playing a lot of more word games with my household,
Mhm.
and I'm like conscious now because Dapper Penguino would tell you I'm a wordsmith. I do pop out the occasional word that people are just
It's
people
true.
Go, oh
Every episode, you seem to like pop out this random word. I'm like, what the fuck is that word?
yeah, and
This guy's crazy.
I don't know. I have a vocabulary of expansive nature.
But you can't spell anything.
I cannot spell shit, or I used to not be able to spell shit. Like definitely, I used to spell definitely because it doesn't sound define.
Oh, dude. I mess up
definitely.
definitely all the time as well.
Dude, definitely is stupid. It's a stupid word, and
I'm pretty
you
sure
have to just go for it.
every time I would type that word into like a document, I would always get the red underline. Like, what is it this time? How did I...
Yeah, you have to. Whenever I type it now, I never get it wrong. Now it's definite, definitely, and
I
it
feel
makes
like
kind of.
We have the exact same sort of story with that word. That happened to me too.
And so I say definitely, and I was talking with Rasmus recently about it. RSW, one of my mods in my chat. We were talking about that word specifically, and it's like something about finite. It actually, the word finite, I never knew applied to definitely until talking it out. The word finite, like to be definite, it kind of makes sense within the definition of the word because definite, it's like. I don't really know how to explain it right now, but it's within the context of definitely, it's finite. So like
Mm-hmm.
to be definite about something, it's finite within. I can't even understand, but it's
And
somehow
is that a Greek or a Latin root?
I don't fucking know, but
Did
but,
you do your
but
research?
it makes so much sense within the word now that finite actually applies to definite that I just say definite when I'm spelling it out now.
Yo, those Greeks are smart, man. They knew there's words.
And but yeah, so I've been learning how to spell. I thought incest was with a C or an S.
Is it?
I
I was like,
don't
wait,
know.
is it not?
The wrong one. I thought it was the wrong one. Now I don't know actually. I should probably look it up again.
Pretty sure it's with a C and then an S.
God damn it. Dude, I can't spell. I'm not a speller. I know words. I can't spell.
But you know what is pretty magical about the last 5 minutes of this podcast? We talked about how we were going to do this thing about word origins. Well, there you go. There's your word origin. Boom.
Yeah. Word origin of
It's not like an offensive word, but, you know.
what's the word
English
origin?
teachers across the world are proud of us right now.
It's some definite is somehow finite. That's how you remember. I can't remember what my reasoning was 3 days ago, but I that's
You got to
yeah.
ask
But
Rasmus again.
we legit we're gonna do a podcast based on word origins because it would have been just like me. It would have been me and Trey talking about word origins and offensive words that you can't use nowadays and how the origins of them weren't specifically offensive.
Which could be super interesting, to be honest.
Yeah, and you know what? For our last episode, we're gonna wrap together a word origin segment and everyone's a freak.
Episode
Segment.
50, that's what it's going to be.
Episode 52.
Well, I mean, if you include the 2 weeks we missed, right?
Oh, okay. So episode 50.
Or is that what we're doing? How are we doing it?
I don't know.
We'll figure it out when we get there.
We have to do. Oh, remember, dude. Cloaked Yoshi. All right, random shout out to Cloaked Yoshi. We were. He's a streamer on Twitch. Follow him on Twitch.
He's good at
He
hunting
streams
stuff.
every single day. He streams every day. We were talking about how in order we physically, Trey and I, cannot get to the number of podcasts that Cloaked Yoshi has done streams.
Okay, yeah. For those who don't know, which is probably going to be an alarming number of people, despite his consistency, he has streamed over 20-something hundred days in a row.
It's a lot of days.
Like literally, as soon as Sid and I began streaming ourselves, he's been streaming, and he's streamed every single day since that. Never missed a night.
It might have been a cooking stream. It might have been, I don't know. It might have been whatever, an IRL stream. It might have been him playing Stardew Valley. It might have been Super Mario Sunshine speedrunning.
Yeah,
But
whenever
every
he
day-
even goes to like an event, like if he goes to GDQ, he'll do IRL streams every single day or something.
Yeah. And he's been streaming like that since at least 2015. At least.
It's actually
And-
crazy.
He does have the record now for consecutive days streaming. That's like I don't know if it's a Guinness Book of World Records thing. He took it from Lethal Frag. I don't know. I don't know. But
He's crazy, man.
Trey and I, when we wrapped up a podcast one week, we were looking at Twitch, and every now and then I noticed that Cloaked Yoshi is on, and then he's still on his streak. I literally go weeks without seeing that he's online, and then see he's online. I'm like, oh my god, he's still going. Like he just
It's like day 2,300. It's like, what the hell?
yeah, and we figured out that if we even wanted to do enough podcasts to catch up with him, we would have to do 2 a day, and that's a lot.
Yeah, see, we did the math. And
Yeah.
if we keep up the weekly schedule for the rest of our lives, we would have to be like 100 years old to match the number of episodes, daily streams he has.
If he stops.
Yeah, if he stops right now, it would take us like 80 more years to reach that number of streams he has in podcast episodes.
It's pretty nutty. I don't know where that came up in my brain just now, but it was just a conversation Trey and I
So
had.
yeah, we don't know when this podcast is going to end, but we do know one thing. It's before we get to the number of streams Cloaked Yoshi has.
So 2000's our goal.
2,500 or something.
Yeah, 2,700.
I forget what it is. It's a huge number though.
Oh,
I can't even
Man.
imagine. I struggle to
like
stream.
what would we talk about?
I struggle to stream 3 times a week, let alone every single day.
What would we talk about? Like Trey and I actually this past week, like the past couple weeks, Trey and I don't talk all that often, other than the podcast. Like
Right. So this past week, it's been my fault. I'm gonna be honest. I said that I laid down my foot this week, or I guess last week, and I put myself like, okay, the deadline for this video has to be next Saturday. I'm gonna like pump out the final section of the video, get the description made, thumbnail made, boom, boom, boom. So basically, the past week, I've just like come home from work on the video for like multiple hours, do some Animal Crossing, and then go to bed. But it worked out. Like I I got the ending done sooner than I probably would have. I just like sort of was lazy about it, so worked out.
Well, my point is, like if we join a call, we have a bunch of shit to talk about. Like
Yeah,
it's not like it's not like we talk every night and just like we show up the next day and like, okay, well, now we have to do a podcast with one another. Okay, what the fuck are we gonna? We talked about this last night. We could talk about it again, I guess. But we don't really have that issue at this moment. It's like the Phoenix episode. There was a scare with the Phoenix episode, episode like 7. I don't remember what episode it was, or like 11. I don't remember. But there was a scare with Phoenix uploading his audio. We did an hour 45-minute podcast, something like that, and then after the podcast, before like the next morning, Phoenix had sent the audio to Trey because we the way we do audio for guests. I don't know why we're talking about, or I'm talking about this, but
it's great content.
The way
Man. Keep it up.
The way we do audio for guests is I record my audio and nobody else's. Trey records his audio and nobody else's, and then the guest, we request them to record their own audio and nobody else's, so that it's just very clean and Trey can edit it together because he's a good editor. And over the past few years, Trey's editing abilities for videos on YouTube has exceptionally
it's
grown.
Increased a little bit, according to Sid.
Yeah, it's
only a
peaked
little bit.
And all those rewind flourishes, that.
Dude, I add so many flourishes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I only had like one rewind
so,
the whole video. Why are you so upset on that?
No, you did a few. I'm not.
Oh,
I thought it was good.
I only did like one rewind sound effect though. I think.
I like the rewind like visual component. But,
yeah, it's sick.
But yeah, the next morning after we recorded Phoenix's, and it's the only one that we've had a scare for. Phoenix sent audio to Trey and I that was an hour and 45-minute blank video. Just no audio, nothing.
When I saw that the next day, I was shitting my pants, not gonna lie.
Because I'm looking at my audio right now just to see if I'm recording. I did that during the Iced episode. I do that during every episode. Like half an hour in, I look, I'm like, oh wait, I started everything, right? And then
I'm doing it right now.
But the only, and the thought process when we were hit with the news that potentially Phoenix screwed the pooch on the audio was, okay, Trey and I are going to re-record a 45-minute episode and we'd put it up. Because the idea of, and this is how it loops back to Trey and I having conversations and then having to regurgitate it. If we tried to record the exact same episode, like we did for episode 2 that never got released.
Throwback.
We did episode 1 and then we recorded our quote episode 1 and then we just released the first attempt that we did on it because we tried to regurgitate the exact same things that we talked about in episode 1. So we just released the first episode as its own thing because it was just a half-assed attempt at repeating the exact same thing. So it would have been just like us attempting to talk about the same hour and 45-minute things that we talked about with Phoenix the day after.
Yeah.
And
if Phoenix
the
was
idea
down,
of
but
that,
then we eventually fixed it. So
yeah, like Phoenix just sent the wrong file, or somehow the audio file wasn't correctly. I don't know the ins and outs of anything, but yeah, it ended up being fine. But just the idea of talking about the same thing for, like, Trey and I can talk about small, like we could talk about this video tomorrow, probably the Pianta 6 video. We could probably talk about it tomorrow and it not be really dead to us, but just for an hour and 45 minutes of the exact same things, it sounds like a lot of work. Like
it's really hard to regurgitate stuff we talked about and make it sound interesting again.
Yeah.
There's like a clear tonal difference between the two.
But we do it like every week, if you think about it. Like we talk about the same, every now and then we do pop in the same things, but it's like 10 seconds of regurgitated content, I guess.
It's a little like reminder of so-and-so.
Yeah.
You know,
the quota of the SMS any % world record history video.
I have an 80% one as well. Quota.
Yeah, quota. And like we pop in those things, but they're 10-second or half a minute or whatever. It versus an hour and 45 minutes of literally the exact same conversation.
Yeah, it's never as good. The same, like the second day.
That's why we didn't go with our second episode that never ended up seeing the light of day. Like our second episode that we recorded was going to be our first episode, but we just went with the episode that Trey every now and then comes to me just like, yeah, I wish it was better, but
Yeah,
it was the first episode.
part of my problem was I wasn't sure if our first episode was good enough. And to be fair, compared to our newer episodes, it's not nearly as good because it was like our first attempt. And like your first anything's never going to be as good as like more recent products that you make.
Yeah, just like your world record history progression of any percent. It's utter
Yeah,
garbage.
honestly, yeah. When I went back and watched parts of the 80% one like a month ago, after over a year never even touching it, and I'm kind of cringing at parts. Like, damn, I sound like that in this video, or like, why did I put that text there? Little things like that.
I go for it.
But that is like part of my problem with editing or even like putting anything out in general. I'm like really hard on myself, and I mentioned this in like the Q&A part after premiering the video today, but whenever I make some kind of YouTube content or anything, I will like constantly teeter-totter between this video is amazing, I love this part right here, it's gonna be, people are gonna laugh at it, they're gonna love it, you know, it's gonna be great. And then there's gonna like the other side, like the next day I could be like, this is so lame, I don't know if this works, I sound weird here. And it's like, I constantly like am in like that balance of like, just having to like convince myself, okay, this is good, keep making it, it's still good.
Yeah, for sure.
And I had that same feeling like with our first podcast attempt. I thought like, that didn't seem that good, I don't know if people are gonna care about it. But then listening back to it like a week later, I was like, I guess it was fine. So it always happens to me, dude. I just doubt myself too much.
I feel like today's just the society today more respects consistency over quality.
Yeah.
Which is also a thing. So the fact that we just consistently put out a podcast is, you know what, that's birdie at least.
I'm proud of us.
It might not be eagle in the Mario what is it?
Mario Golf.
The Mario Golf Toadstool Tour of ranking.
Even regular golf for that matter.
or regular golf, but you know what? We're gonna go video games because video games are hard. And yeah, so it's at least birdie. We're not an eagle for the
I'd say we're a solid birdie.
We're a solid birdie. This is a solid birdie of a podcast.
We're gonna be an eagle once we get Geradim on the podcast.
Yeah,
maybe someday. We'll see about that.
Because he does. What was the picture that you posted? And you posted to me like it was Geradim.
Yo, he was like making this crazy interior design layout thing in MS Paint, I think.
Yeah, I'm just like, what?
It looked like super intricate. I was like, bro, this is on Paint. This guy's a nut.
For the record, we've not talked to Geradim about being on the podcast, but we're very excited at the prospect.
Yeah,
the idea.
I think about that every now and then. I'm like, oh man, imagine having Geradim on here. We could talk about Twilight Princess. That'd be nuts.
It would be like Iced Windowsill or the Cheese episode. We would just let him lead the podcast.
If he's willing to, yeah.
Yeah. Be like, what do you want to talk about? I don't know what
it depends how... You always gotta like feel how the guest likes to flow. Like whether it's like a less talkative guest or a more talkative guest. Kind of depends.
Yeah, it goes from emo to Iced Windowsill. That's
emo
the range.
to cheese, I guess.
Emo to cheese, yeah.
Cheese talks a lot.
Which is fine. It was good.
Which is great.
Episode.
Actually, I prefer the guest talking more. It's less work for us, and it's more focused on the guest, which is the main topic of the video. So.
And when they're leading the direction of the podcast, or it is weird for those few moments when they do stop talking, because when they do, like when with the Ice Windowsill episode and with the Cheese episode, when they just talk for, I don't know, an hour and a half out of the 2-hour podcast, when they throw it back to us, or when they stop talking, it is by being our show essentially thrown back to us. I don't know where to lead it. Just like you just went off.
It catches me off guard. I'm like, wait, he's done talking? Shit, what's next?
Like, in my brain, I'm sitting there like, okay, well, it seems like he's ending his thought right now, and you know what? I knew none of this that he was about to talk about. So now that he's throwing it back to us, I guess you want to talk about your early life in gaming? Like, where do you go from there?
But yeah, I do enjoy those episodes. It's always interesting listening to what they have to say, you know?
Oh yeah, like the Iced episode. The Iced episode we did last week, I've known Iced for 5 years. We've done routing together. Kenny's jealous. We've done specific.
Kenny is jealous.
We've done specific level routing for like bingo in Super Mario Sunshine. Iced Windowsill and I. But I never knew half of the things that he talked about last week, and it was very. We actually had a conversation the day after we recorded the podcast just about like early StarCraft. I'm not a StarCraft guy, but he was talking about early StarCraft, and he didn't talk about that at all on the podcast. Like early WoW, I've heard conversations with him, and it's interesting how much, I guess, Iced Windowsill has been through, even though he's a year younger than I have within gaming.
Yeah, Iced has been around in gaming for sure.
Yeah.
Like far outside the reach of just speedrunning, just a lot of stuff in general.
Like he's a WoW player. He played competitive StarCraft. He played, or not competitive, but like competitive. And like he's just good at random games. He started the SMS community. Like it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff.
People don't give the older players of games the respect they deserve. And I'm not just saying that because I'm an older player, okay?
Yeah.
Like, there's a quote from some famous guy saying, "I got here on the the shoulders of giants that came before me."
Yeah.
And like, it's a lot easier to get better at games nowadays due to the accessibility, which is awesome. But don't discount those earlier players who put in the work to get the game to where it is today, you know?
Yeah. Shout out to Iced Windowsill.
You're a good man, Iced.
You weren't mentioned in the world record progression of Pianta 6, and therefore you genuinely shouldn't be mentioned this episode, but shout outs.
True. So,
all right.
Do you want to like do something on your list? Because I got something else.
I was going to just mention the fact that, you know, advanced ship movement?
I do know advanced ship movement.
Advanced ship movement. One moment in this video, you have an advanced ship movement moment.
Do I? Wait. Let me guess. Oh fuck! I have no idea. What is it?
For me, it sounds like you say gay movement instead of game movement. You say gay movement.
Where do I say game movement?
I don't know. It's during one of the no clip establishing shots of Pianta. I rewound it like 3 times. I'm just like, I don't think he says game.
Does he say game movement?
Like, I know you're going for game movement, and probably nobody.
What the fuck is game movement? The movements of a game?
No, gay. Without the M.
No. I know. What am I actually saying? Game movements?
Gay.
No, what am I actually saying?
Game movement. Yes.
Why would I say that though?
I don't know. You said that.
I gotta reread that script again. I don't know if I said that.
You did definitely say that. And
was it like in the middle of a sentence? It's like something game movements blah blah blah.
Probably.
I don't even remember that. I gotta rewatch that.
Yeah, we gotta go back to that. But it's definitely an advanced shit movement moment for me.
Did anyone
I don't think
in the
anybody
Twitch
else
chat call it out?
I don't know. I rewatched the Twitch stream for my reveal, and like 5 minutes after that, like the shot of me just to see what people said in response.
Because I know for a fact that with advanced shit movement, the whole Twitch chat was just advanced shit movements.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, oh damn, I messed that line up, didn't I? Nothing was that bad in the new video though. Maybe it was just for you, so I'll take it.
I think it was just for me. Like I just look for those things.
You just look for the advanced shit movement moment now.
Yeah, I'm just like, where did he fuck up? There is actually a part earlier on in the video where it sounds like you're putting on a deep voice. Like I know your voice is naturally deep, but it sounds like you're putting on like a YouTube.
It's hard doing so many voiceovers. Okay.
I know, but like for the rest of the video, it's fine. But earlier on, I'm like, I hope this isn't the rest of the video. And then it was like the end of that sentence. I'm like, perfect, awesome.
Yeah, there were definitely moments like, dude, believe me, I'm by far the biggest critic of my own voice. There's one line in the video, I think like towards the very end, I redid a line probably 5 different times. Like I would do it once, put it in the video, like insert the audio into the video where it makes sense. The next day, go back to it, I'm like, God, it sounds like shit. I gotta redo it again. There was one, I think it was the beginning of the concluding statement where I'm like, Pianta's in need. A combination of this, and this. That just never sounded right to me. I think the take that I finally got turned out pretty good. So,
I see. I don't know the meme.
Wait, which meme? Oh, the Steve
The-
Jobs?
Yeah, I don't know the Steve Jobs meme.
Yeah, so that was a throwback, and some people did get the reference, which I was pretty proud of. That was from the original iPhone reveal of 2007. He's like,
All right.
this is going to be a revolutionary device. To be fair, the iPhone was pretty revolutionary, kind of changed our society.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs was pretty woke. Yeah, in his presentation, he was like, "It's today we're going to unveil a brand new phone and a brand new iPod and a brand new internet communications device." And then the crowd's going crazy, of course, because they're all nut huggers for Steve Jobs, of course. And then he's like, "These things are not three different devices. This is one device. A phone. What the fuck? A phone, an iPod, an internet communications device." And he keeps like repeating those phrases. It's like, "Are you getting it now?" And he's like, "It's a fucking iPhone, dude. There you go."
Dude, the iPod part of that dropped off, man.
Yeah, what's an iPod again?
Yeah, nobody uses an iPhone for being an iPod now. That's crazy.
Actually, it's funny. Dude, figuring out how to conclude a video is like so hard, man. It's like, do I just regurgitate earlier stuff, or do I make it funny, or like what the fuck do I do? But I happened to be on YouTube one time just looking around random videos, because honestly, like 95% of what I watch at all is just YouTube stuff. And one day, YouTube recommended to me like iPhone reveal 2007 with like 20 million views. I was like, "Oh, interesting. I'll go watch that, see what the iPhone reveal was like, see how much technology's changed." And it's a pretty interesting video looking back on it. It's like, it's really fortunate for me to have been a part of 3 revolutionary changes, when even just one in a whole career is life changing. At first, there was the Macintosh in '84, and then we had the scroll wheel, like with the iPod, little like scroll wheel thing.
Oh yeah.
And now we have, I guess it was just the iPhone. I don't fucking know, but
Just the touch
it's interesting.
screen? Touch screen, maybe?
Oh yeah, multi-touch control.
That's
That was
pretty good.
the new thing with the iPhone, which was brand new, was multi-touch control on it.
Dude, I don't know. You talking about the touchscreen, it makes me think of Die Hard. You've seen Die
Really?
Hard now. You've seen Die Hard now.
I have seen it now. I forget, what was the touchscreen part again?
The touchscreen when he walks in and the CRT that's obviously not a touchscreen.
Oh, the
at
very
the-
beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, when he walks up and then he's just like looking for his wife or Gennaro. He doesn't know yet, and he looks for a McLean, and he taps M, and there's nobody of that name, and then he taps G disappointingly because she's made it so that she's not using his last name or his surname at all anymore because they're estranged at this point in the movie. And he taps the CRT that's super obviously not a touchscreen, and I'm sitting there going like, today with an iPhone or a Galaxy or whatever, and you're just looking at what a touchscreen actually looks like, and you're just like, he's just tapping a CRT and they're making it look like it's a touchscreen.
Yeah, I remember that now. That's a pretty minor part of the movie, but yeah, you've seen it multiple times. So
I don't know. It's just a part that always sticks out in my brain. Like if I was sitting, if my sister was watching it with me, she would. She was one of those people that'd be like, "That's super unrealistic. That's not actually a touchscreen." Like that part of
well, hey, okay.
her input just randomly goes in my ear.
To be fair, touchscreens are actually a thing now, so it's like, okay, it's realistic.
Yeah.
But like the thing itself is like that going to be a touchscreen.
Dude, it's such a buzz killer to sit and watch those like unrealistic action movies with people like that, where it's just like, oh yeah, that wouldn't happen, and I'm just like, yeah, I know, it's a movie.
And actually, that reminded me. Speaking of Die Hard, you could argue that the new video I made is a Christmas movie.
Oh yeah, I guess that's
dude,
true.
Oh my god, did you like that M. Night Shyamalan twist I had?
That's crazy,
dude. Actually, when that came to me, that idea for that ending, for like the reveal of like the actual current record, that came to me. I was like, holy shit. I recorded, so this is actually crazy. I recorded that video of me giving the commentary on Chibi's Run literally on Christmas Day.
Oh yeah?
Like it actually literally was Christmas Day, because I didn't celebrate Christmas until the weekend after Christmas, because I actually worked on Christmas, because like our job, we gotta have like some holiday shifts we cover. So I worked on Christmas was like a regular day for me. And that particular day, I just happened to record that little commentary on Chibi's run. And furthermore, it just so happened Fetch broke the record on that day, and I happened to have the Bowser Jr. plushie behind me representing Fetch's profile picture. Like, the whole thing is crazy. It's like a giant web that's connected. It's crazy.
It all worked out.
And so I like replay that clip. It's like, holy shit. He says Merry Christmas, and the final record is on Christmas Day, and Fetch is in the background. What the fuck? Like, that commentary, like, it foreshadows the whole thing, which is like super M. Night Shyamalan twist. Like I said, it's crazy.
It is funny that some of the comments after watching the video, there were, I don't know if it was YouTube or on Twitch, I don't remember, but somebody was asking just like, why is Bowser Jr. everywhere? And I'm just like, did you not see
it's his profile picture?
Yeah, did you not? He established pretty well that his profile picture was like, if you've watched any of his prior video or Trey's prior videos, it has the profile picture.
That's my
and then the
style,
name
like to
below
represent the character. I don't just show like a human person. I just show this is the profile picture. This is them. So
yeah, it was well done. And then there was just one guy being like, "What? I don't understand." I'm just like,
why does Ouija have a Luigi picture? No one said that.
Dude, when you revealed that Ouija got the record back on his alt account, I was just like, who the hell's this guy? Me. I was sitting there going like, I've never heard of this alt
Early
account
Game
before
Master?
in my life.
What the hell?
Like, Early Game Master? Who's Early Game? It's probably a one-off guy that just quit. It's like, oh, it's Ouija's alt account. And the way you did the transition too, like maybe that's where your editing was, that one part, that editing was very good.
Oh, when I was showing Ouija's first record?
No, when you, I don't know if it was first, but his the transition from his alt account to his real account.
Oh yeah,
I like that.
Smooth as butter, you know.
But yeah, very good video. I
Thank
hope
you.
I hope it brings in a lot of views for both you and the
For the
channel
podcast only,
and potentially the podcast.
See, I have no doubt that eventually the YouTube algorithm picks it up. The way that my videos roll is like the first couple of days it's kind of slow, maybe gets like a few thousand views. But when the YouTube algorithm notices the average watch time, the recommendations go out here and there, like recommend you to that, and then it just keeps climbing over time, baby.
Climbing over time, baby.
I'm praying it happens again. That happened with the first two videos. Like the 80% history video only got like 6,000 views in the first couple of days, I think. And then eventually it hit the algorithm just perfectly. And all of a sudden everyone's recommended to it. Everyone sees it, and then boom.
I had my doubts.
About?
I had my doubts about the transition from any percent world record history to 120 shines world record history to Pianta 6
To a
specifically.
single level.
I had my doubts about how good it could be, but you know what? I should always trust the most average of Treys.
I made it
to be
work.
able to pull it out. Yep.
It wasn't easy. It was definitely figuring out what the fuck to do was definitely harder than the previous two videos. The previous two videos, it was like, well, okay, he got a record using a new trick, so show that. And then there you go. But in this video, it's like, what little mini time save is here that's worth talking about and like was actually saving time? And yeah, it's a challenge, but it was a fun challenge to work through.
You didn't take the summoning salt route either.
I think I know what that means, but yeah.
He did better.
I mean, that's a gross over exaggeration, but yeah.
Yeah.
And this time he came back and did even better.
Yeah, that's kind of.
Whoa, holy shit, dude!
What?
Like vaporwave music blaring in, like holy shit. No, I love summoning salt, but yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, sometimes it's pretty good.
So see, that's the thing is I didn't want to go. I felt that I went a bit over the top at parts with the 120 video, like sort of over dramatic with the music and stuff and the presentation. With this video, I was pretty self-aware and like, okay, it's a single level. It's nothing too crazy. I'm not going to get like too like fucking like Soul Calibur 2 fucking orchestral music on you.
Yeah.
It's going to be like sort of nice and mellow, sort of just explain stuff, have some funny moments, and yeah, have a good time. So
I liked that. Well, some of the bits in the 120 Shines videos are so good, like you versus Shadow Mario.
Yeah, 120 video had like its very, very high moments, but it also had like sort of its like okay moments.
I thought it was really funny that the last thing that I have about Pianta 6. Like the ending is really interesting that you don't really emphasize the final world record. Like he, in fact, got the record back by whatever, and then he improved it. Sure.
Yep.
But the funny thing was in the middle where Feck got it back, and you like hyped it up so much, and then immediately Syrup got it back.
I mean, hey, it was the first 219, dude.
It's like he put in so much work, and the only one that could do it is Feck, and then
Syrup gets it back,
and then you just like hype it all up, and then he gets it. It's just like, oh, and then Syrup did the same strats, and 2 days later he got it back. It's like, oh,
well,
okay.
Syrup did have the water slide at the end too.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, hey, in a way that kind of reflects how it felt, because I remember when Fetch got that first 219, everyone's like, holy shit, this level's dead, and then one day Syrup's like, oh, I beat it. So.
Yeah. Sometimes that's just how ILs be. And if you're a fan of the podcast, you have heard Trey and I talk about ILs to death, and how just like you get a record and then immediately gets taken by somebody who does more ILs than you, and you just sit there and go like, shit.
That is exactly how ILs be. Full game runs, it's always emotional because you're on like sort of that roller coaster the whole time, and you finally get that time. It's like, yes. But in IL, you can just randomly be a god one day and just get an insane time. It's like, well, there you go.
Well, I guess
there's not much like emotion behind it. Whereas like a full game run, you're like on the edge of your seat the whole time. So
it just makes me think of like, it's not a super hype IL, but when Trey got, and we talked about it, the Pianta 2 IL after nobody had improved it for whatever, like 6 months, or Oatflaker had it for however long, and then Trey got it, and then Ouija went, early game master. He came in and went, oh, you improved that? I'm going to improve that. Even though it took you an hour and a half to do that, I'm going to improve it in 3 attempps. Like, oh, okay.
Well, it wasn't just 3 attempts. It was more like 10. Okay, come on.
It's more like
give me
10.
some credit here. But yeah, Ouija's a nut. Early game master's a nut. Yeah, like if I made a video on the Pianta 2 progression, which I wouldn't for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But I'd be like, finally, Trey, he worked his ass off for an hour and a half. And he beats Oatflaker's time by 1 frame. And everyone's like, dude, this level has to be dead. And Ouija's like, oh, that looks pretty fun. And beats it like immediately. So
most ILs are like that. So it's really cool that you made like a story of, because I've never thought about Pianta 6 in that light, where it's usage of the flood mechanics in very, I don't know, in a very diverse way.
Yeah.
And then the in-game timer and the last point. What was the last point?
It was in-game time, floods mechanics, and relevance to full game runs.
Yeah, relevance to full game runs. So it's interesting how you made those 3 points. And I've never really thought about that. I've never thought about the flood aspect. I've always thought about the in-game time and the relevance to full game runs, but I've never thought about the flood mechanics being, because every story of ILs, and we've talked about a few ILs, like Bianco 8 has some like minute history to it, but nothing comes close to Pianta 6 at all.
Yeah, and I felt like I had to justify why the level's so popular. I critically thought about like, why are the reasons why this level got to where it was. I was like, okay, well, in-game time, obvious one. But also the inclusion of flood in so much of it, it's so much more deep than any secret stage can ever be.
Yeah.
Like, adding flood, you could argue like red coin secrets are much more deep than just regular secrets. In fact, I think most of them are.
It just makes you think like how wrong people are when they say just like, yeah, flood just dumbs down the game. Like,
well,
no,
it dumbs down the game, but it makes it so much more technical when you know how to use it in all of its mechanics and stuff.
It's like, it just makes it so easy. It's like, yeah, but it's also a kid's game.
It makes it easy, but it also gives you so many tools to just improve on things that you would never have before.
Like over 10 years, the world record for one level can improve by 10 seconds and it'd be like drastically different.
Yeah, and like at the beginning of that progression, like the 209 was like, damn, dude, like these IL strats, he talks to people, this is unbeatable.
And then, and it's funny, I think it was DDoS. I don't remember who it was, but DDoS is an SMS player. He was in the chat being like, wait, why don't you guys do that anymore? Why don't you talk to people? Why don't, whatever. And Feck was in the chat, or Fetch, whatever.
Fetch.
He was in the chat being like, yeah, Ouija and I have screwed around with it, but it's not viable. Like, it's not fast. It is fast, but it's not fast.
The main reason why talking exploits aren't experimented on too much is a side effect of practice codes is the timer keeps going during text boxes.
Oh yeah, that's also true.
So unless Doki Doki, like, I guess patches that and makes the timer pause during that, which I don't think is possible. Maybe it is, I don't know. I think it's not possible because the timer is sort of independent of what's going on in the game. It's just like sort of there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's a way though. Doki Doki has done crazy stuff for that game in recent times.
Ever since Dan Silvato,
yeah, dude,
with his P is for pain Mario Maker stage.
Admit that you died laughing at that.
I laughed at that. I was just like, how is he gonna do it this time?
you knew I was gonna do it again. Dude, when I thought of that idea, I was like, holy shit, this is my funniest part of the whole video, if you get it.
P is for pain Mario Maker stage.
Famous for his P is for pain Mario Maker stage.
I love that has in and of itself become an inside joke. It's like you not acknowledging what's it called?
Doki Doki Literature Club.
Yeah, Doki Doki Literature Club in the first video where you referenced Dan Silvato. It just ballooned into this. Oh, he's famous for his Yoshi's story runs or whatever. Like,
see, this Dan Silvato meme, it stems from a grudge I have with annoying YouTube comments that I used to get. Because I released the 80% video the day after Doki Doki Literature Club came out. You know, I was thinking, oh, well, okay, some fucking anime game, whatever. He's famous for Melee, of course. And then come to be it a few months later, I get a million comments like, is that the Doki Doki Literature Club guy? What do you mean Melee? He's the Doki Doki Literature Club guy. Holy shit.
He's not famous for that. He's famous for this other thing that wasn't relevant when you posted this video.
And I got so many of those comments. They nowadays transition into coronavirus comments, which is equally as annoying, but believe me.
Why did they name it this? It's like, come on.
Wait, Corona Mountain, what the fuck? But yeah, this long running joke of I just like when I mentioned Dan Silvato, I just mentioned an even more obscure thing he's known for. like Melee stuff he's pretty well known for. Then Yoshi's story, like, okay, he's kind of known for that. And then a random Mario Maker stage. It's like, okay. But yeah, that came from, I guess it was a beautiful thing that came from just motivation from annoying comments.
Disdain for it.
My absolute disdain. That's Sid's word of the day. There you go.
I'm pronouncing it disdain because I always thought it was disdain.
Yeah.
But then I looked it up and it's disdain. It was with a D, 2 Ds.
My God, that Dan Silvato part. That's the one part of my own video that cracks me up every time. So good. But yeah, I think that does it for our Pianta 6 discussion. I'm glad it's out finally.
You know what? This episode would probably not have been nearly as good, or we wouldn't have delved as deep into Pianta 6 if I didn't watch it.
If you didn't watch it, yeah.
If I didn't watch it, this episode would be a weird one.
I can just picture it like I'm talking about it. But I'm like, I don't want to spoil it, but I do this because I don't want to spoil it for you.
Dude, yeah, it's just like you spoil the entire thing. And I'm just sitting there going like, I should have just watched the thing. Like, I had a half hour.
I just explained the whole video to you. It's like, I could have just watched that, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's one actually super duper important thing related to a game that I used to speedrun, Pac-Man World 2.
Oh yes, the Pac-Man World 2 announcement.
There's a pretty groundbreaking thing that was discovered that actually, shout out to Cup of Joe. Cup of Joe found this thing by accident many, many years ago, but had no idea what it was. So just to like sort of clickbait you into this topic, what if I told you that Tupac was beaten from a new file in 1 minute 51 seconds?
That'd be.
Wait, would you believe me?
Well, I wouldn't because what the record's 41 right now. 41.
It's a 40. Yep.
Yeah, it's nuts.
You're probably thinking, how did he beat the game? Isn't the sub level alone 8 minutes long? How is that possible, Trey?
Yeah, like how do you get through the swimming level?
Well, basically, there were secret cheat codes discovered in the game.
All right.
Basically, shout out to, his name is Anvar in the Pac-Man Discord. So Anvar found that if you press certain combinations of triggers I think it is. There's a few different codes. Let me see what they are. So there's one for like 20 lives, 10 tokens, all levels, all arcade games, all arcade mazes, and museum unlocked. And it's just simple stuff like move forward, move backwards, camera left, camera right. That's 20 lives. To get all levels, you just move left, camera up, move forwards. And this is all done on the pause screen, I believe. So, yeah, they're just secret cheat codes that the developers never told anyone about. They're just in there. I'm assuming he just like data mined the game to find that, because how else would you find that, obviously?
I don't know. Yeah, people say that about every glitch in speedrunning. Just like, how the hell did
Yeah.
that guy find that? Like, I don't know.
It's crazy, man. It's funny because Cup of Joe, many years ago, like in 2015, maybe 2014, he actually he played on PS2, the PS2 version. And one time he was doing a run, I think, or maybe just going through the game, and he sweared that he just randomly unlocked every single stage. I get he inputted the code for all levels by accident somehow.
Yeah.
And he had no clue what it was. He's like, "Wait, why do I have all the levels now? What did my game glitch out? What the fuck is this?" And for the longest time, we were like, "That must have been like some weird freak memory glitch, like 1 in a million chance." But no, it's real. There are cheat codes in Pac-Man World 2. They're in the Pac-Man Discord in the World 2 section. They're like pins. You can look at them, and it's cool for multiple reasons. So, for those who may have remembered when I mentioned my $500 bounty, if you find a way to skip the sub level. Okay. My money is safe because this cheat code is not any percent legal. This is going to be a separate category, if it is even a category.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you can't allow cheat codes in a any percent run. Come on.
But it's in the game.
So my thing is $500 if you can skip the sub in an 80% run.
I guess.
So yeah, the guy was like, "Hey, I think this should be 80%. I want that $500." But no. If you find a way to skip the sub without these cheat codes, 500 big ones still on the table, boys. But yeah, it's cool for another reason beyond just, being a crazy discovery. Anyone can unlock all the arcade games immediately. So you can just play the highest token value one, Miss Pac-Man, 180 tokens, immediately just play that. Pretty sick.
Cool.
So.
Yeah, that's cool. I when you were talking about it, I was just like, well, the 80% record is still the 80% record.
Yeah.
It's not like they're gonna supersede that with
my money is safe.
a minute and a half.
But yeah, Pac-Man World 2. In addition to that, the record was improved by quite a bit. The current record holder named Frogs, he just destroyed the record recently. He has like a 40-30 now. Like my former record back in April 2018, before all the Clyde Eye bounces were out, I did like 2 Clyde Eye bounces. Now they do all 5 because they have better setups and stuff. I had like a 41-44. Frog's got a 40-30, I believe.
Oof.
So it's coming a long way. It's pretty nuts. So.
Speaking of new world records, we haven't done a podcast or a solo podcast since Liam got the new 120 star.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That's insane. Oh.
Liam King's the new king of 64 or 120.
Did you see the highlight of it ending? Where
I didn't watch anything of it, no.
You can't see it. His internet is so bad, and it was so active that it's 160p at most.
Holy shit.
And it's just like all blurred, and you can kind of see him get the star. Like, it's pretty insane.
Very reminiscent of Cheese's old records.
Oh yeah, when the bit glitch where it just
there's a history of like recent-ish 120 records having just terrible quality at the end.
It was interesting. I can't remember the exact time. I think it's a 38 or it's a 38.
Well, yeah,
38?
it's 38. Thanks.
Well, it's a 38-38 or 38.
Oh, like the seconds. I forget what it is.
Yeah,
is
it's like close
something?
to that. Like 40.
I thought it was 38-40 something.
Okay, something like that. But yeah, shout outs to him.
Because
it's a speedrun
we all
podcast.
saw it coming to some extent. Liam's been like putting out many hours to that game with really solid potential. So.
Dude, I feel like the people that wanted to grind before the quarantine that now get the time to grind are just grinding. Like Ouija's doing it every single day. Dide's doing it every single day. There are a bunch of people that are doing that, but then the people like me who are just like, oh man, I could really take advantage of this time. I'm just sitting here like, maybe I should play Rocket League.
You're just like so demotivated during the opportune time to grind.
Yeah, it's just I did do a couple any percent streams earlier this week. It's just after 3 hours of sitting there and not getting anything started, I'm just like, I don't want to play this. I just do not.
Yeah, man. I went through that when I was playing the new Fire Emblem. Like I blame Fire Emblem for my major demotivation for 80%. I was going pretty good. I got my 115-19 a few weeks after the Three Houses came out. But I was quickly like, yeah, I don't know. Sure, I'll go for 114. I may get it eventually. But 114 is not even that special anymore. So it's like, whatever. But
It just makes me respect the people that have that grind part of their brain that can take advantage of all this free time that they now have to do it.
I had that grind part of my brain when I was newer to speedrunning. I think we all did.
Yeah.
But when you've been doing this for multiple years, you sort of lose that.
It's just tough. Like, part of my brain hates speedrunning. It really does. But
it's just
like
sort of
the other part,
I become numb to it in a way.
It's really interesting. But I shout outs to those guys that they can do it. Like they can grind for 12 hours and then take a nap and then have Feck be on their stream, talking to their stream for 12 hours, and then they come back. That's Ouija. Ouija went and took a nap, and 4 hours in, the good people were memeing about it, so I went to go see what was going on, and Feck was talking to Ouija's stream that he left on while he was napping, and he came to my stream the next morning, and he said, and I referenced it and laughed about it, and he was just like, I napped for 12 hours, and I was just like, oh, I guess that's a nap.
That's
I guess
a bit of a nap, yeah.
That's definitely a nap, at least.
And then meanwhile, I'm still going to work like a regular working boy.
Oh yeah,
risking my life out there. Although to be fair, in Kansas, it's not as dangerous as say New York, so I'm not too worried, but still taking a bit of a risk.
Yeah,
for sure.
You know what?
I mean, there have been confirmed cases in my county, so a little bit worrying. But as far as I know, there's been no reports of any employees at my company getting it yet, so we've been good so far.
Just wash your hands and keep with your cleaning regimen.
Yeah, I keep hand sanitizer in my car. Like I've been pretty careful about it. So
good.
Did you have anything else?
I do have things.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so I have a note here that says Odyssey replay game feels gross.
Okay.
It's just off.
Diving out of ground pounds is weird.
It is weird.
I respect that game. I love the level design. You can call me crazy all you want. I think it's got some dope ass levels. But Mario's movement, yeah, it's nowhere near as good as Sunshine's at the end of the day.
What are my other notes? Oh, I went out. Dude, if we're talking about Corona, it's affected my area. I'm somewhat close to Toronto, and Toronto's been hit somewhat. It's not insane compared
not
to
as bad
like
as America,
Italy.
but yeah.
Oh, it's definitely not. But we are. I feel like Canada has gone pretty full shutdown. Like the only place that isn't really shut down is Nunavut, and to an extent they are. Like, and Nunavut's one of the territories up north. If people don't know. But so around here, it's pretty shut down. Like all non-essential stuff is shut down. It's been shut down for weeks. And I had to go to the grocery store. I went to Costco for the first time. And we used to go like every other week or something. And for my mother's business. And we went to Costco. And it is a trip going to stores. And I probably won't. For some people out there, you probably already know how it works, but there's a really long lineup. The lineup extended to the other side of the Costco parking lot, and for Costco, that's a pretty big parking lot.
Every single person in Canada showed up that day.
Every single day. Well, it was funny because while we were waiting in line, we were just like, how can this Like it actually ended up not being that long of a line, like time wise, but it was a really long line because everybody has 6 feet in between them. You have to have your social distance going in, and while we were going in, people were asking the employees, the 3 employees that were watching the line, like, you can't cut in line, and like being very strict about it and saying that's the end of the line, and everybody looking at it being like, okay, I'm going home. And for how long the line is,
Dude, they can make a sick business out of like, if you pay this much money, you can cut ahead this many people.
dude, that'd be so
That'd be nuts.
scummy. That'd be so scummy.
Capitalism, baby. Anyway, go ahead.
But what were they saying? They were saying, I'm trying to remember. They were saying that it was about to rain. Like there were 3 days coming up that it was predicted to rain, so everybody came out like that day.
Oh,
and
that's
we just
why
came,
it was crowded. Yeah.
We just came that day because it was the day we needed to go get stuff.
See, I was confused why that would still be happening because I figured, oh, the panic buying stuff's in the past. Now it's sort of like more regulated. Yeah. But I was surprised to hear like, oh, lineups are still happening. Okay, well, all right.
They were saying that lineups were better. Yeah, they were better the week before, and then they were just worse now because of the rain. That's like the impending rain. So
it's just rain related. Okay.
Yeah, just like nobody wants to wait outside in the rain, and I totally appreciate that. But I didn't know that it was going to rain. I don't look at the weather.
But wait a minute, if you just went on the days where it was going to rain, there'd be no line, right?
I guess.
So like that's the woke thing to do.
But they don't want to wait outside, bro.
Why would there be a lineup in the like? There can't be a line every day. There's only so many people.
Trey, I don't know. This is the one time I'm telling you the story of the one time I went to Costco.
Right. Like, obviously, I gotta have more context. But like, assuming like this couldn't happen every single day because most people I feel are buying for a longer period of time to have to go less.
Oh yeah.
So you would think there'd be fewer people going overall. So it's like, why would the lineup still happen? You know?
I don't know.
Weird.
I wouldn't be able to tell you. What was? So this is my whole experience. Going in, there were whiteboards. They wrote on whiteboards to say what they were out of stock of, so that you didn't have to like wait in line for 30 minutes.
Toilet paper, Nintendo Switches, and something else.
Nintendo Switches.
Dude, I saw a thing on Twitter where it's like out of stock of. It was like random essentials and then Nintendo Switches.
That wasn't on the list. It was alcohol, plastic gloves,
just all alcohol,
like isopropyl alcohol.
Okay, I was like all the beer, all everything.
No, they don't sell beer at. You see, Canada is different. Canada, they don't sell beer at Costco. They can't.
Oh, how does that work? So the way it works in the U.S. is certain states they'll sell like any alcohol, even like hard liquor, at grocery stores.
Yeah.
But then in some states, like actually in Kansas, the hardest alcohol they'll sell in stores is beer. So
it works kind of similarly now. Back in the day, like 4 years ago, there was other than the beer store or the LCBO, and Canadians would know what I'm talking about. LCBO is just the alcohol store, and it's just its own thing. It is run partially by the government, and you buy alcohol there. And that's the only store that's able to sell alcohol except for the beer store. And those are the only two things.
Wait, you have like a separate, like, this thing has the monopoly on hard alcohol. This thing has the monopoly on beer.
Essentially.
It's kind of weird, but okay.
Essentially, up until a few years ago. And a few years ago, like, grocery stores started carrying beer. But other than that, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally it. So you have to go to these two stores for the hard alcohol and beer and hard alcohol, or now in grocery stores they sell a couple things. But it's I don't think Costco holds alcohol at all.
Does your Walmart have beer?
I don't know. I would not know.
I feel like
I'm not a beer guy. I'm not a big beer guy. But
I am, but I don't drink it unless it's like social occasions, so I never have it with me.
For sure.
Yeah.
I just look at it in my periphery. I'm just like, oh, that's sold here now. I don't care, but it's sold here now.
Mm-hmm.
And so going in, it was no alcohol into the Costco. No alcohol, no gloves, no certain types of toilet paper, certain brands.
Wait, no gloves? You mean like no
plastic gloves?
Oh, just plastic gloves?
Yeah.
Oh, there's like gardening gloves.
Gloves Costco has don't ask me why I know this, but they have a large array of plastic gloves. They have pallets of large, medium, or small, just plastic gloves.
Yep, that's the ones we have like in our quality lab. I wear the large size. Shout out to large. So,
I do also wear the large size.
there you go.
But yeah, they were out of those, and they were out of isopropyl alcohol and toilet paper and stuff. So they had the list there, and then they had the list of on the other whiteboard of the limit. Like you had to limit to like of 2 items, or they were limited stock wise. I don't actually know what they meant, like if you had to buy a limit of these things or they were low, but they had a list of those that I didn't really read.
I'm assuming it was like they have it, but you can only buy so many.
That is the thing that makes most sense. Mm-hmm. So we eventually got in. The rule going in was 2 meters apart from everybody. Like you had to keep your social distance. It
2 meters
fucking
or 6 feet,
imploded.
if you will, for you Americans out there.
Pardon me?
2 meters or 6 feet, roughly.
Yeah, it on the signs in Costco it said 2 meters. When we got inside the Costco, it imploded. Social distancing imploded immediately, and social distancing for the entirety of the lineup, just like 6 feet apart. Everybody was keeping it, and then when you went inside, everybody became a window shopper immediately. Like they didn't have direction, they didn't have anywhere to go. My mother and I, who I went shopping with, we knew exactly where to go. We have even without this, we'd go and we'd do our thing and make it as fast as possible so that we can. Before this, it would be go eat brunch or breakfast or whatever. But we went in and had our exact same game plan, but we had to work around everybody with social distancing in mind because there were signs everywhere. But everybody, when you walk into Costco, it just starts with like the big TVs and like the things on the, like there's cashews and random things that are on sale on the right side as you walk in, and just this electronics area. And everybody just kind of like gummed up. Everybody just kind of stopped and just clogged everything. And I'm just like, what is everybody, what? It's a pandemic. It's a pandemic. What is everybody doing here? Just like walking. Don't you have a direct, like go to the toilet paper, go to the bread, go to like keep moving. Like, why is everybody just stopping to look at like, oh, like I guess the Panasonic 65-inch is out now. And everybody's just like sitting there staring at it. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like it just immediately just sludged up.
Everybody gets in there to start hugging each other, like, "Oh, we're so glad to get in here."
Like, oh man, we survived the lineup. It was insane. Like nobody cared at that point. And what's funny is that some of the employees didn't care. Like they were just kind of they were doing their job, which is fine, but they were like running up against people and like trying to slide through. And I'm just like sitting there, I'm like, dude, social distancing. Like what? If I get this because of you guys, like I'm pissed.
I'm toast.
But like they were letting people into certain segments. Like there's a veggie room and there's a dairy room, and there were employees, like the small little areas that you go in that have like a large doorway that are somewhat separated from Costco. They had their own employees standing there letting people in. Just like, oh, there are 2 people in there, you can go in. It's like, oh, there's 1 person in there. It's like, okay, or 4 people in there. It's like, you wait here for a sec for the other people to come out. And that all worked fine, except for just like, I don't know, periodically it just all fell apart. The ending was fine. I don't know. That was my basic whole experience. It was weird that the cashiers had to touch my stuff. The cashiers are like, they when you put it on the conveyor belt, obviously they're gonna pass it through the scanner. Obviously they have to touch it, but they had the 2 people that unload and then load your cart at the end, and I'm sitting there going like, I can unload or load it's fine, like you can trust me, like we don't have to have a 4th person involved. But I guess it's so that I stay far enough away, like I'm the person that's in some way trying to be kept away from I don't know. It was an interesting setup at the end.
I'm glad that my Walmart, because I live in such a small town that the Walmart is essentially the only store we have. There's like some little small mom and pop shops, but Walmart's the one store we have essentially. And It's like, even recently, it's not even that crowded. I just sort of go in like usual, and it's like, okay, well, but yeah, actually, funny thing about shopping with your story of people like standing around being indecisive and stuff.
Yeah.
As indecisive as I am with editing videos and putting out contents and whatnot, I am the exact opposite with shopping. I just get in there and I'm like, okay, it's not some Walmart brand. I'm gonna get it. Boom, take it. Like I just think like, oh, it's a brand. It's not Walmart. It's probably okay. All right, I'll get that. Move on. Or like, hey, Oreos, grab them. Okay, next thing, bananas. All right. I'm not a very picky shopper.
We have a very set, because we have to go to Costco like we used to have to go every other week. So we have like our pattern that we follow,
Yeah.
and to get out as fast as possible, because we legit, like, not trying to go into it too much. We get 2 full carts at Costco every however often, and we have to go through it like step by step in order to load it properly. Because for some reason, Costco, I'm going to complain about the layout of Costco. Bread is like the first thing. All right, you don't want to put the bread on the bottom of anything in a cart.
Oh hell no!
You just get a cart. We go to flour first, and that's at the end. Like, we go get the
first
flour.
thing you learn when I became a cashier at Hy-Vee, which is a grocery store in Kansas, or like a Midwest grocery store. Bread always on top. Easy.
Yeah, well, yeah, but the bread is first. The bread is one of the first things in Costco, or the layout that I have. And
you just got to get it on the way back.
Yeah, you just have to do it backwards for some reason. And it's like they have the layout of a regular grocery store, but Costco isn't a regular. You have to have a membership to get in. Like, I don't know how they justify having the same layout as a regular grocery store. Because in a regular grocery store, you walk in and go like, I need to go get the milk, and the milk is put as far away from everything as possible, so that you have to walk by everything in order for you to look and be like, oh, I want those Fudgios. Does anybody know what Fudgios are?
I'm gonna go on a hunch, say it's like a chocolate thing.
Yeah, it's a chocolate cookie.
Okay, I was right.
Is it Canadian only? I don't know.
We might have it.
I've never heard.
Like, there's also like, remember Tim Tams?
Yeah, Tim Tams.
I have no clue what that is. You thought I knew what it is, but I don't.
I don't know what Tim Tams are. I don't think they're in Canada. But yeah, you walk by everything
south
to go
of where I am. But yeah,
you walk by everything to go get the milk, and you window shop as you go, just like the people at the beginning of Costco, even during Corona. And then you just kind of go and get your milk, and then go to the end. But Costco's laid out the exact same way, and I don't know why. Because everybody's going there with a membership. It's not like they're going to be like, the milk's too. Or like I have to go for just milk to Costco. It's what? Who does that? I'm pissed now.
Yeah. Does the layout of your Costco ever change? Like, they move stuff around?
Sometimes, but anything that matters. Like they move sometimes the salsa 3 aisles, but that's not really.
Because I know for a fact at Walmart, I've seen a video on this where grocery stores will intentionally sort of confuse you and move things around every now and then. Yeah. It's all intentional. It's like to make you buy more stuff. It's kind of a dickish thing, but hey, capitalism, like I said.
Yeah.
Like they'll make you go to where you think it is. You'll see something else like on sale. It's like, oh, maybe I'll get that. Fuck it.
It's the milk strat. It's put the milk at the very back corner.
Yep.
Like Costco, the milk is in the very back corner room. Like that's where it is. Like when you walk in the front door of Costco, or the Costco that I frequent, if you drew a square, the bottom right square is where you enter, or the bottom right corner is where you enter in Costco. The very top left corner is where the milk is.
Dude, same. That is the exact same thing as my Walmart. Like, it has like the 2 sort of front center entrances, and the very back left corner is the milk.
So you just have to walk by everything.
Yeah.
So that if you were blind, you wouldn't be subjected to the harassment of all of these other products on your eyesight. But as a person that uses sight and looks around, and you know what, I enjoy the occasional advertisement of random food products. Perhaps
even
I will look at these products.
Perhaps
I will look at these products, except for French's ketchup. French's ketchup is horrible. I hate it.
That's oddly specific, but okay.
I don't know, because sometimes we get French's ketchup, and I'm just like, this is the worst thing.
Why would you get any ketchup except for Heinz?
I know.
That's like,
I know.
Heinz is the ketchup brand.
I don't get it. Like sometimes the French's is on sale, and then I look at it and I'm just like, oh, it's on sale, and it's just like, it's French's. Dude, though.
Growing up, my parents would get Hunt's ketchup, and I'm like I don't know. I guess it was okay, but it was like a little bit sweeter than I liked. And like, I don't know, Heinz, just get Heinz, okay, with ketchup.
Yeah, just get Heinz.
It's so easy. Ketchup solved. Heinz, get it. Boom.
Yeah. maybe put a little. What I've been doing lately is putting a little bit of pepper in my ketchup. That's a really good
Okay,
strat.
that's pretty exotic. I like it.
Yeah, you just put your ketchup on a plate with your French fries or your chicken or whatever, and then you just put a little bit of pepper in it and mix it around. I've been
See,
doing that.
French's probably can't do ketchup. They can do mustard though. So
Maybe.
I'm not a big mustard person. I don't carry mustard around at home, but if I were to have mustard, it'd probably be French's. So
Probably. Oh, but yeah, I don't know. That's the strat with grocery stores now. That was an interesting thing.
the strat is to immediately just start hugging everyone when you get into the store.
Yeah, just
Like, oh, I'm so glad you made it. Let's hug it out, brother. Let's get this TV.
everybody
yeah.
keep up your social distance, even though you've entered the store. Sure, there's fewer people than regular, but there's still people. And God damn, they just all stopped, and I was just like, "What the hell is going on?"
Everyone's a freak,
Everybody's a freak, man.
even in Canada, apparently.
Even though there's signs like every area, there was a keep 2 meters away. Just like, nope.
There's literally signs like "Stop making out in the store." All right.
Stop me. Especially if you're strangers.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I don't know why you're doing that all of a sudden randomly. That's
What else do we?
I don't know
What
about
else
that.
do we have? What else do we have other than store stuff?
I don't know. We covered our video. I covered my Tupac crazy breakthrough.
11 days ago, or 10 days ago, there was April Fool's,
Yes.
and I've written this down. And I would not have remembered if I didn't write it down. Shoutouts to me writing stuff down for the podcast now.
I have no clue where this is going. I'm interested.
There were the SMS, the Super Mario Sunshine. We are Super Mario Sunshine players, and speedrunning is a thing. Yeah, it's a thing that we
you
do.
go fast in the game. Okay.
Yes.
But
There were Super Mario Sunshine April Fool's tweets.
my mind is failing me. What were these tweets again?
JJ.
Oh yeah.
JJ tweeted out that he got a 114 on April Fool's. And
You mean a
You know what?
113?
no, it was 114 even.
Oh right, yeah.
Oh, it would have been world record if it was real. So I joined a call. I knew it was a joke right away because somebody told me like that it was a joke before I even saw it. And so JJ tweeted that he got a win 14 on April Fool's Day. I think he's deleted the tweet, actually. I think the tweet actually got deleted. But I
It's
remember
such a
being
dumb
kind
joke.
of bugged by it.
It's it's such like a lazy and like kind of causing confusion for no reason. joke.
Because there were people genuinely like, I think it had 60 likes. I think, like, not that that's like an insurmountable amount of like. It's just like it's duping people into thinking that a world record has been beaten. That, you know what, people could beat. It's not like
yeah,
it's
JJ
unattainable.
could easily get that time. Not easily, but like it could feasibly happen.
It could happen
Yeah.
if he was on enough drugs, and he was having what was he doing?
The
He was on pain
painkillers.
meds. Yeah. But yeah, so that was kind of scummy in my mind. He eventually deleted the tweet, but it was interesting that a lot of people got duped by it. I apparently Calf was just like, oh shit, congrats, and for like 10 seconds didn't know it was a troll, and then he was just like, oh shit, congrats, and then he realized it was a troll, or at some point, I don't know. A lot of people were watching the stream that it happened.
He linked it in the good people chat. It was like JJ on insane pace, and then
Yeah.
it was like, wait, it was a troll. Never mind.
Apparently, he paused during King Boo or something. He
Okay.
paused the timer. I don't know. Whatever. It's a weird thing to complain about 10 days later. I would have probably been more excited to talk about if we talked about it during the Ice Windowsill podcast, but it was just kind of like weird. Like, I don't hate JJ or at all. It's just kind of weird.
Dude, every time April Fool's comes around, I'm never prepared to like have any kind of joke. It's like, what do you make jokes on? Like faking a time or like faking anything about coronavirus just seems tasteless. It's like
I did see a few April Fool's tweets that were tasteless about Corona. It's just like, oh, I got Corona.
I got corona. It's
legit.
like, no, dude, you can't just say that. Come on.
Like legit sad like posts about potentially having Corona, and then there was like, oh, they left it up for an hour and then posted, it's like, oh, April Fool's. It's like, what the
It's like, dude, that's so dumb. I always think, next year I'll have a sick joke ready. But I don't have any ideas. I'm so uncreative with April Fools. I don't know what to do.
I don't know. April Fool's itself is just kind of lame.
I think April Fool's is dying, and you can even see it on the internet, dude. 10 years ago, the internet on April Fool's Day was lit. Like
Yeah.
every website had some kind of meme going on, like whether it's YouTube or Twitter or porn sites. Like every website had some kind of April Fool's thing, like, oh, we changed the entire layout, or like every video was some weird, like, related to like some random topic. Like they were super creative, but with how much the internet is a necessity nowadays, and like the internet's just different now. It's harder to like really have an interesting creative April Fool's joke that's not in poor taste, or like what JJ did, I guess.
That's not immediately known to be an April Fool's joke.
Yeah,
well.
like you gotta have just the right mix of like it's believable and like not fishy at all that it happens to be April Fool's Day, but also not like offensive or like misleading, and just kind of like okay, you know?
Yeah. Like while you were saying that, I was just like, oh, JJ kind of ticks all those boxes except for like misleading. Because it's definitely.
I'm offended you would fake this time.
I'm offended.
No,
See,
honestly, it's not a big deal. It's just kind of like a weird thing to do.
Yeah. I thought when it was posted, or when we were talking about it, I was sitting there going like, I would be pissed if he announced that he got a 113. Like that would be, I would genuinely be kind of upset about that if he like put out an April Fool's, because he put out that he got a 114 even instead of a 113.54, because that would be immediate like
Yeah, so
700 likes.
It seems more believable that way.
Yeah. So I don't know. Respect to JJ's restraint, I guess. That's. But also, what's funny is that Ouija, who currently has the world record, posted the only good SMS troll April Fool's joke too, because he was just like, his April Fool's joke was at the expense of Reed, who's been on the podcast, and he was just like, "Oh, Reed PB'd today," and I was like, "I can get behind this. I can get behind this April Fool's joke."
Holy shit, Reed beat? Oh, April Fools. Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, April Fools.
Actually, okay, so the best April Fool's joke I saw that whole day was on a site that you wouldn't expect. I occasionally will check coinmarketcap.com because I've invested some of my money into crypto, like some Bitcoin, some Chainlink, some various cryptocurrencies. I'm playing the long game, though. I haven't sold a single penny yet. Just maybe it'll moon again years from now. Who knows? So I'm checking CoinMarketCap, and actually for April Fool's Day, above rank 1 Bitcoin, they put rank 0. I forget what it was. It was like toilet paper coin.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like the price graph, like the 7-day price graph was like in the shape of ass cheeks. It was like, dude, it's booming now. Like that was a really good, like relevant, really funny joke that didn't affect anything. Like that was creative. But
yeah.
Other than that, I didn't see a whole lot like on Twitter and stuff. So,
dude, you know what? There was a surprising amount of restraint. There were the every now and then few like distasteful, come on, dude, April Fool's jokes that everybody knew immediately was an April Fool's joke and got just so much flack. But going into it, like since it's the Corona thing, since this thing is happening, there were people that showed a lot of restraint from that kind of stuff because everybody was just kind of like not in the mood.
Yeah,
and I appreciate that.
Man, I never have anything prepared. I'm gonna say next year I'm gonna have the ultimate joke ready. Comes around, I'm like, fuck, I got nothing. All right, maybe next year.
Next year's the Corona joke.
I'm that woke.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna be around next year. So,
like something about time travel. It's just like I'm traveled from a year in the past, and
I time traveled back and got coronavirus, guys. Just kidding. Please
nice
laugh.
April Fool's joke, bro.
But yeah, I think does that cover pretty much everything we got?
I got blocked on Twitter because I posted a Pachinko
God, I forgot about that. Yes. We
That's
have to
the
cover
last
this really
note.
quickly before we wrap up.
That's the last note I want to cover. I got blocked on Twitter. There was a tweet that was just saying, "Oh, what's the greatest Mario game?" And it was just a picture of SMS, SM64, Super Mario Galaxy, or Odyssey, and everybody, like a lot of people were saying Sunshine and Galaxy. Everybody was saying everything. And then there was one guy that said Sunshine. Below that, somebody posted a GIF of how dumb Pachinko is. And it's just like, yeah, I don't know, maybe not. And I responded to that of an IL that I did like, I don't know, a year ago, probably 2 years ago at this point. And just like, I don't know, Pachinko's pretty easy. And I got blocked for it.
Wait, what was your exact tweet? What did it say?
It was just like, hold on. You vamp.
Well, yeah, basically, Sid tweeted at this guy saying, like, Sunshine's a bad game because, like, Pachinko was pretty trash. And then Sid responds with, like, a speed run of the level. He's like, it's not too bad. And
Yeah,
for that,
pretty good.
he gets blocked on Twitter by that guy.
like
what?
Like minutes later, I went back to it, and
like, if that's how you're gonna take that, like, okay, but he's just sort of making a joke about speedrunning. But okay, that's weird.
Pachinko easy dough.
Yeah,
That's what it
Pachinko easy
says.
dough.
And
I think
it's not like,
it would have been funnier if you linked like Galapagos's like world record IL.
yeah,
But like, yeah, like your thing
That's-
does enough of a point, and it's just like getting blocked for like just like a speedrun joke. Like really?
I was just like, because I never knew I didn't know what blocking looked like or getting blocked like, because
Yeah.
I've never blocked anybody or been blocked before or that I know of.
That you know of.
And
yeah.
And I didn't know what being blocked actually, how it impacted my view of Twitter. So I looked at those because I got notifications on Twitter and I was just like, oh, what did I get? Oh, I got likes. It's like I got like 13 likes. Who cares? And I was looking at the tweet and I was just like, oh, I can't see the one I responded to anymore. That's weird. Just like, oh, for some reason, Twitter is restricting me from seeing this now. And I think the quote is the person that sent this tweet or something along those lines, the sender of this tweet has chosen to like has specific people not see their tweets. Like it didn't say you were blocked by this person. It said it's
You
just
know,
saying
they
it's slightly
sugarcoat
more
it.
restricted. Yeah, and it's like it's slightly more restricted, and I'm just like, huh. And then like I got Quan to go look at it, just like, no, I can see it. I'm just like, am I blocked? And I went to his Twitter, and I'm blocked, and I'm sitting there going like, for linking an IL, just like a dumb joke. I thought it was really funny. It was pretty
Like,
hilarious.
man, how weirdly sensitive can you be?
I guess I'm that sensitive because I'm still talking about it. But then
No,
again,
it's
I
not
wrote
even
it down.
sensitive on our part. It's more just like baffling. Like, why would you block someone over that?
What?
It's
Just like
so weird.
just an IL? Like just this guy speedruns it and he responded that I was wrong. Block. It's like okay.
Like normal person. Okay, that's pretty funny. This guy blocked.
Blocked. But yeah, that's
pretty
I guess
funny,
that's
though.
the end. I guess that's the end of the episode. We're probably gonna name this something. Pianta
Something
6
pertaining to my
related.
video, probably. That's where we covered the most of.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like an hour at least.
Yeah. But yeah, feel free to check it out. It's in the first few hours it was out, it already passed the number of views of our most viewed podcast. Woohoo.
PogChamp.
So it's making its rounds. Hopefully the algorithm picks it up and gets it more views, but we'll see how that works out. So
This is how we get more views of the podcast. This is our
Right.
secret plan.
I actually made that video. It's actually a conspiracy. I started that video around the time this podcast started. And I was like, I gotta hatch my master plan. How do we get the podcast more views? I know. I make another history video I spend months on and promote the podcast in that. Easy.
You did say I was a weirdo, so I guess that is promotion.
And then people are like, I wonder why he's a weirdo. I'll check it out. But yeah, thanks for watching or listening, everyone. Again, as it says on the YouTube video, if you're watching on YouTube, we're on Spotify and Google Play. I've been Average Trey.
I'm Sid Williams.
Sid Williams, yeah. And have a good one, folks.
See ya.
Check out my video.